Hello everybody, welcome back to another Pokemon News Weekly presented by the Game House. I'm Rob, and I'm excited to be going over all the new news, leaks, and rumors that are coming out about Pokemon. We cover everything from Pokemon Go to leaks about Pokemon Day, which will be coming up here relatively soon. We're in February. We're about 3 weeks out from Pokemon Day, so a lot of things could be getting leaked. A lot of things could be getting revealed as well. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you're not missing out on any of the great Pokemon content we have coming out on the channel, and so that you don't miss out on any analysis about what's going to be getting revealed, because there's a lot of rumors going out there. And for this episode today, there are a lot of leaks and a lot of rumors that we are going to be going over. We always start with the news, but I hope you'll hang out long enough to go see what's going to be coming out for all of these different rumors. Also, make sure to let me know in the comment section below if you believe any of these rumors or leaks, and also what you are most excited about from what's getting announced. So let's hop into it here. Guys, Pokemon TCG Pocket is getting ripped to shreds for the trading, debacle is what I'm going to call it. We've gone over it almost every single time for the last 3 weeks, maybe a month, almost every single one of these episodes. And there was more that came out pretty much right after, the day after, I should say, I was recording. Pokemon TCG Pocket basically states here that they are hearing our feedback, and the item requirements and restrictions implemented were to prevent abuse from bots and other prohibited actions using multiple accounts. Well, I get what they are trying to say, but these are terrible, and they say that they understand, thanks to the feedback, they understand that some of the restrictions put in place are preventing players from being able to casually enjoy the feature as intended. Guys, they knew this from the start. They're just trying to get as much money as they can for these things, and sometimes you gotta set things up at a ridiculously high level and then bring them back down to earth, and that's what this one's doing. So no surprises there. And then even later in the next week, because people were, I think, starting to lose interest in the game, honestly. I can't confirm that, but I know a lot of people were pretty upset about it. Even my fiance was really upset. She's been playing Pokemon TCG Pocket since day one, and she hates the trading feature and is really upset about it because she was really excited to trade with other people. And so much so that Pokemon TCG Pocket put out that they are continuing to investigate ways to improve the feature. We'll be sending 1,000 trade tokens to all players via gifts in the menu, and we greatly appreciate your patience in being a part of our community. This is, a lot of people took this as, screw off, here's 1,000 trade tokens. I take this as they don't want to stop losing money, and if, again, ultimately, every goal for the Pokemon Company is to A, get money, and then B, provide a good player experience. At least that's what I've seen over my many years of playing and watching things for Pokemon. And guys, I know you want to look at this in a bad way, but let's put this in perspective really quickly. If you are losing money because people are not playing, right, which means you're not getting a steady amount of consistent income from people, even from casual fans, right, then the amount of money that you're making from, trying to put these blockers and everything on trading is not worth it, right? The ultimate plus minus, the ultimate scale of things, right, starts to dip down, and it just ends up not being worth it. I think they are trying to find a new way. I'm sure that they've already thought about it. They're just trying to lick their wounds right now and save a little bit of pride and not put it out there. But I would be shocked if by Pokemon Day we don't have a new update, a new fix for trading in Pokemon TCG Pocket. The game is just too wildly successful, and you can't let greed get in the way of keeping you from being able to, be even more greedy, to make even more money, right? I know companies do this all the time, but I think Pokemon is generally pretty good at listening and making changes. They may not be the changes that we want, right? And they're still going to find a way to implement it so that you can't use multiple accounts to abuse the system, I'm sure. But at the same time, I just can't believe that they are going to, just completely forget about this. Here's your 1,000 tokens. we're going to take a look and then not do anything. No, they have made it very clear. I mean, this is, less than a week between these two posts. And they even had one before they released trading, so they understand that the community is really upset. And look, again, it could tank their game, and that would ultimately lose them a lot more money. So if we believe that greed is the main factor, which for the most part, as most companies are at this level, especially with how big Pokemon is, greed is definitely, money is the thing that is driving this. And if they are losing money because of a feature that they put in, then they're going to make changes so that they can go back to making more money. Simple as that. Pokemon Go here. You can see this little thing here. Looks like Koopa is going to be making its way to Pokemon Go. I don't play it enough to know for certain that is the case, but I'm pretty sure, I should say that, this obviously to me screams that Koopa is being added. I just don't know if it's already in the game or not. But at least wanted to make all you Pokemon Go fans aware of this. It's a little 9-second teaser. You can see the ultimate form here, I think is what it's called. And yeah, it's going to be the new mythic, legendary Pokemon is going to be making its way there soon. Pokemon Unite had a big last week in terms of esports. Generally, I don't talk too much about Pokemon esports on here, but I'm going to try to bring that to you guys a little bit more. The February Finals Championship is coming about. Team Luminosity, or just Luminosity, won the North American February Finals. Luminosity's been pretty top tier in Pokemon Unite since the beginning. They used to be really big in a lot of other esports as well. They were based up in Northwest United States, maybe Southwest Canada. I can't remember if they're Vancouver or Seattle. I want to say they might actually be Vancouver, so Southwest Canada. And a pretty interesting organization. They've even had Overwatch teams, all that kind of stuff in the past. So cool to see them still being in, esports in a pretty significant way, especially one that I think Pokemon Unite's a pretty good esport to follow. It's fun to watch. I definitely turn it on occasion once when I have time to. But these are the teams that'll be representing. You got Latin America, North and South, Peru Unite, Stamina Esports, North America. We already know we talked about Luminosity. Brazil from Bahia, Gen 5 I've heard of from Europe, and to Coxdium, I don't know, from Oceania, so down in Australia, Philippines area. So pretty cool stuff here. If you are a fan, I always encourage you to watch the competitive scene, because if you like Pokemon Unite, you're going to learn a lot more from the pros than you will just trying to play on your own. So there may be strategies and stuff at the highest level. When you have a championship, that's when they bring out everything. So there may be something that you didn't know or you never anticipated, and maybe not. Especially right now, there are a lot of Pokemon Unite players watching it, which is a shame. But you could get an advantage. Then you go into your game and you're pulling out something that nobody expected, before everybody else, and you can grind that XP. So just keep that in mind. But okay, we're going into the leaks now. El Chico Eevee, big leaker for Pokemon Unite, a whole bunch of different things. Suicune will be coming to Pokemon Unite apparently on release day. Or on Pokemon Day, excuse me. This is a surprise to me. I really thought Alchemy and Empoleon were going to be making their way there. Apparently they are encoded in the game. I still think they're waiting on Empoleon for when Pokemon Legends ZA comes out. I just really fully believe that. But Suicune being added is great. It's another legendary. It's the first of the legendary dog trio. It's a great Pokemon. I think it's arguably one of the most popular ones. I don't know. All three of the dogs are popular for different reasons. I think Entei, had its own movie. I think Raikou, some people argue has the best design. I think Suicune obviously has a great design. All three of them were just given, brand new forms, over in Paradox forms specifically for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So really cool to see. Apparently, El Chico Eevee also said that Suicune's going to be an all-rounder, so pretty nice little addition there. Along with this, though, big one here, I think, is that this picture is showing the Chinese lobby and the 500-point game mode are coming to Pokemon Unite. I think that the 500-point game mode is going to make this game a lot more competitively enjoyable. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch. And I think it'll be even more fun to play. I can be honest with you, it's going to make me a little bit more interested in picking it back up. I used to play a lot for the first couple years that it came out, but I started to lose a little bit of steam when I went back to League of Legends, and then I quit League of Legends. So now I need, something to easily play on like my Switch or phone. And so occasionally I'll pick up Pokemon Unite, a little Star Wars Hunters, throw that in there as well, as a big Star Wars fan. But for Pokemon Unite, I think this is a really nice addition, and I'm hoping that this means that we're going to get the Pokemon TFT game that has been, very often leaked or rumored here. The Chinese server has it. Like, I've seen El Chico Eevee play it. I made an entire video, if you want to go check it over at the Gamehouse channel, where I broke down what I was seeing and how it is. Yes, it is a dumbed down version of TFT of Auto Chess, but it is still a good one. It's Pokemon, so I have to imagine that they are working on bringing it to the United States, and I think that that's where they're using China, I guess, as kind of like a guinea pig to a certain degree, making changes, getting it ready. I think the new lobby where you'll be able to run around with your character with Pokemon in this kind of, I don't know, I guess the best way that I would put it for Pokemon is in, I believe it's in Sun and Moon, where you have like the plaza, right, and you're running around. I think this is going to be kind of similar to that as well. Now we're getting into the big one, the leaks, or the rumors, I should say. These are people who are posting on places like 4chan about Pokemon Legends ZA. There are 3 of them. I'm going to do a full breakdown of all 3, so buckle up. There's a lot here. Thanks to the Hidden Power podcast, as they seem to aggregate these. Very interesting. I'm going to read through this one. Let's get started. A total of 12 traversable areas, 5 sectors, 5 outskirts, the center of the map, which is the main area, and a forest area, which is the final area. Very interesting. Right off the bat here, I will say I have heard that there is going to be some sort of forest area, and if there are 12 traversable areas, that would be amazing for this game. I had said it in the past. I think it was literally on the last video. 5 sectors is not good enough, and for me, if they are going to try to improve Pokemon Legends games, this is the one that I really want to see them do. Is I want more space. Pokemon Legends Arceus was great, and there were a lot of spaces within the 5 spaces, but I want a huge map. You've been working on all these open world maps. They already showed what they could do a little bit in Scarlet and Violet. They've had a lot of extra time since Legends Arceus came out to make this game even better. 12 traversable areas sounds fantastic to me. Maybe even a little much, honestly. I'd prefer maybe like 10, but hey, I'll take 12. Waterways, sewer system. This one makes a lot of sense. You're able to go in the sewers in Black and White. I wouldn't surprise me that you could in Kalos either. Sky deck area, all accessible within each sector. Fantastic, like I said, little parts of the map that you can go to. Pokemon are everywhere, but most are found in the outskirts, but more species populate within sectors once construction is completed. So, you kind of build out those areas, you get more Pokemon. That makes a ton of sense to me, and is going to make catching and running around and finding them fun. Main goal is to complete the construction of Lumia City. That's what a lot of people are saying. I think that's almost guaranteed at this point. Each sector has a boss Pokemon that will try to prevent the construction. No surprises there at all either. You need to gather resources from the outskirts and obtain a specific amount of Pokemon to advance. Okay, so similar to Legends Arceus with completing the Pokedex, they're just finding a new way for us to go about doing that. Boss Pokemon see you as a threat and do not want the city built. During this time, Pokemon and humans did not coexist yet. Part of the game's story involves earning the boss Pokemon's trust to advance development. I don't know about that. Pokemon start to appear in the city once that trust is earned. Beautiful storyline. That's kind of a repeat of what they just said, but I'm skeptical of that being the reason why you're earning the boss Pokemon's trust, because you're kind of pushing them out of their homes. So, I don't know about that. But leader of the development does not like Pokemon, clashes often with a leader from another organization that's trying to bridge the gap between people and Pokemon. Very X and Y of them, very Black and White, again, specifically. I think there's going to be a lot of crossover between some Black and White stuff from the games, obviously, and then from Legends ZA. Really interesting to see here in Kalos, obviously, X and Y. This is where you obtain the Pokedex and tasks involving Pokemon. So, that person is the one who's, helping you do it. Catching photographing, which I don't know if I care that much about that, but hey, that's fine. In battling, Mega Evolution is available about a third of the way through the story. That makes sense. I would say I would have preferred half, but a third of the way is fine. But you have a stone from the beginning that comes with your chosen starter. All previous Megas return with 14 new. Seems a little low, but not terrible. They might add more in DLC later. 3 regional variants of previous Pokemon. Also seems a little low considering with Legends Arceus, I think we got 6. At least 5. At least 5. So, I don't know how we'll see about that. But Cafe, Street, Skydeck, and Waterside battles. 4 trainers. Final area is massive forest, very fairy tale-like atmosphere. No new legendary, new forms instead. Sort of Mega Evolution, but without stone and different, more dramatic form changes. So, look, the beginning part of this makes a ton of sense to me. It's when they start getting into a little bit more of the specifics that I'm maybe on, right? 14 new Mega Pokemon would kind of make sense, but I feel like if you're going to hype it up, you might want a few more than that. We'll have to see. I mean, there's a ton of Mega Pokemon running around, so I already, right? I believe there's like 36 or 40 forms, something like that. So 14 new, I guess that could work. 3 regional variants of previous Pokemon seems very low. Unless they're planning a lot more for a DLC, I just can't see that. The final area being massive makes sense to me. No new legendaries. New forms instead. I don't believe that whatsoever. They gave us an Amorous in the last game. I would be shocked if there wasn't at least one new legendary. We saw It's About a Leak before that had like a blue legendary that went along with Zygarde. I could totally see that happening with the ZA portion of it, but we'll have to see. And that it being sort of Mega Evolution without stones. That's kind of the primal evolutions that we got with Groudon and Kyogre. So, I don't know. This one feels, at the beginning at least, very possible. This story would get me excited. I would be pumped to play through this game, to be honest with you. But it doesn't really talk about whether or not this is the past or the future. There's a lot of, kind of words and, things that people are talking about that I think, this person kind of put together, something that people would really like. But I'm not thinking that this is very reliable whatsoever, but I would love the 12 traversable areas. I think that'd be huge. And having the boss Pokemon feels pretty likely, so I don't think they're stretching much in that regard. And then the leader of the development of, not liking Pokemon, then another one liking Pokemon. Excuse me. They're just playing two, groups against each other, similar to how they did the Diamond and Pearl clans in Arceus. So a little too similar to Legends Arceus, but, Legends ZA may be very similar. I don't really know. Once they get a formula down, they like to repeat it, but with a couple different changes that hopefully make it better, right? And like I said, if this part at the top is, it ends up being true, then that will be enough for me. I can live with the rest of this. But let's move on here. We've got another one. Okay, so here's some info about Legends ZA. Whew, lot of, and we still have one more to go. Starting off, the layout of Lumia City is still quite vast in size and doesn't look too different from modern Lumias. Okay, so this one sounds like it's saying we're going to the future. Lumias will be split up into 4 areas, being northern, southern, eastern, and western, with 4 smaller areas where Pokemon can be found and where the gym leaders reside, each being made for different environments of Pokemon in their respective gyms. If you're just listening, I just shook my head. However, you can temporarily travel outside of Lumias to find some Pokemon unavailable in Lumias, similar to that of the old Safari Zones, but the areas are much, much smaller. Boo! The playable characters are named Brooke and Charlie. Alright, I don't even remember there being names for the characters in Legends ZA, but okay. AZ is a twist villain in the story, but mostly acts as a background character until the change. Okay, that makes sense. The professor of this game is Professor Ignidia, who is an ancestor of Lysander. So now they're saying it's in the past. Cordon, Croyus, and Canale are one of the gym leaders, and they are the ancestors of Silent Crest and Chili. I'm pretty sure that those those are the gym leaders from Black and White, right? Not from X and Y. Yeah. The starters stay the Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie, but you are gifted with a second starter, much like the ones given by Sycamore, but the starters are Snivy, Torchic, and Piplup, with Snivy and Piplup getting new Mega Evolutions. Okay. 25 Pokemon gain brand new Mega Evolutions. Raichu, Wigglytuff, Poliwrath, Jinx, Dragonite, Ledian, Azumarill, Politoed, Jumpluff, Ludicolo, Flygon, Torterra, Infernape, Empoleon, Carnivine, Licky, Porygon Z, Serperior, Emboar, Samurott, Scolipede, Gothitelle, Chestnut, Delphox, and Greninja. Yveltal and Xerneas get unique forms instead of Mega Evolutions called Complete Cycle forms awakened by AZ in a boss fight similar to the battle against Volo. There is a new Reggie that is a ghost type that is kind of unsettling at first glance and appears to be a Frankenstein's monster. A regional variant of Litwick that is Fairy Fire and is an Incense Lantern, and a regional form of Tangela that is Bundled Wires that's electric, and a regional fake for Farfetch'd named Farfenced that is a fencer. Sorry, I had to read it around my mic. I'm going to be honest with you. If this is the game, we're going to be disappointed. 4 areas with smaller areas where the gym leaders are. Why are there gym leaders? I guess it is past because they say it doesn't look too different from modern Lumiose. Okay, that's fine. Why even drop the character names Brooke and Charlie? I know that some people kind of care about that, but does not add to the credibility of your leak. AZ as a twist villain in the story doesn't surprise me. That could be fine. The professor being an ancestor of Lysander, I could see. Why are the ancestors of Black and White characters in here? I don't hate that, but I'm just confused. It could happen. I mean, that's not totally out of the realm of possibility. It's just interesting. And I know that I'm pretty sure there were some ancestors from different Pokemon games that were in Legends Arceus that weren't from Gen 4. So I do understand that. It's just, why would these 3 be the ones that they are looking at? Maybe because, their restaurant is a gym, so maybe they're really playing on the cafe themes and stuff like that. The starters staying as Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie, not going to happen. Just can't see that happening. Snivy, Torchic, and Piplup. I can agree with Snivy and Piplup. They are not going to have Torchic and just use the same Mega Blaziken form. Maybe they give it a different form, like another Mega Evolution, but can't see that happening. A lot of these Pokemon, guys, like, they're not going to give Jinx one, I don't think. I don't think they're going to give Wigglytuff one. Politoed doesn't make sense when you're already giving Poliwrath one. Right? Like, that seems just kind of dumb, to be honest with you. It just seems like they just went down this list and decided to do that. Carnivine, Y. Porygon Z, super Y. No reason for that whatsoever. Samurott getting a new one. They literally just got a form, so why? Like, these are 3 Black and White, starters. Why are they getting so much? I think this person got confused between what happened in Black and White and what happened in X and Y. Just gonna throw that out there. Just feels really weird to me. I don't know. This one is probably the worst one I've seen yet. I just can't see that happening, to be honest with you. And if it does happen, then why in the world would Pokemon think this is a good idea? Just gonna be honest here. Would be very disappointed if that was the case. Last one here. This one's about Pokemon Day specifically. So there will probably be a little bit in here about Legends EA. I haven't read this one yet, but let's go through here. Pokemon Day. Sorry, I think I teased this as 3 Legends EA. No. 2 Legends EA, 1 Pokemon Day leak or rumors. So here we go. New updates for Cafe Mix, Pokemon Go, and Pokemon Masters. Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon announced for Pokemon Unite to celebrate the year of Eevee. Not totally against that. I mean, they are, I think, the only ones that are not in there, right? Because Leafeon and Glaceon are, I know. Espeon and Umbreon are, and Sylveon is. So, yeah. So, they do have, it is the year of Evolutions. I could see them getting announced to be joining the game later in the year, because we already just saw that Suicune is coming. Like, El Chico Eevee doesn't really miss in terms of, what's going on, because it is data mined information. It's not just them leaking from, your uncle that works at Pokemon. So I could maybe see this happening, but later down the road. New Pokemon TCG Pocket Mini Set. I think that one's just pretty much guaranteed. We're going to get a new set announced then or even revealed. Features Giratina on the cover. Wow. Whew, big guesses there. Got to be careful. We'll have EX cards for Giratina, Arceus, Spiritomb, and more. Okay, that's fine. Very believable so far. New Legends EA trailer, which will show the starter Pokemon, Totodile, Linton, and Snivy. Okay, you're starting to get me there. That makes a lot of sense. Along with new Mega Evolutions for Dragonite and Flygon. Totally can see that happening. Main characters are shown along with other story-related characters. Game is set 25 years in the future, and the redevelopment plan is well underway to make Lumiose a huge Kalos attraction for tourists. Gameplay looks smooth, Scarlet and Violet graphics, but keeps alive the gameplay features from Arceus. Switch 2 version also announced, releases June 2025. Unova remakes announced. Faithful remakes by Pokemon Works. We already know that that's a thing. We've talked about Pokemon Works before. No Chibi style, more of a Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee style. Game looks very polished and runs very smoothly. Was supposed to be announced last year, but needed more time because of setbacks. Release November 2025. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. Unlike the last one that seems entirely impossible, this one, I have a feeling may end up being right. Just going to throw this out there. I really believe that there's a very good chance that almost all of this happens. I think the Totodile, Linton, and Snivy stuff makes sense. I think the redevelopment plan being in the future as well makes sense, right? Like, I know that they showed things. They started like Arceus as in the past. I think it would make sense to do it in the future. I still would love a past one more, but future is fine as well, right? They have to redevelop it because the weapon, right, I believe destroyed like part of Kalos, if I remember correctly. I haven't played those games in a while. I might actually have to go back and play X and Y for the channel. If you guys want me to do that, let me know. But all of this makes sense to me. They're not going too out of the realm of possibility for quite literally anything. The TCG Pocket Mini Set makes a ton of sense. Obviously, I don't think anybody is going to be wrong on that one. It will be Giratina on the cover. What it's going to be called, I don't know, and they were smart not to put a name. There are other people who've been guessing the names. Really smart guesses here if this is not real. And then, Totodile, Linton, and Snivy make a ton of sense. A ton of sense for the starters in this game. I would almost be more surprised if those weren't it. I think they were near the top of my tier list. I'd have to go back and look. New Mega Evolutions for Dragonite and Flygon. Totally makes sense. Everybody's been wanting them. Why wouldn't Dragonite get a little bit more love, and why wouldn't Flygon? Just makes too much sense for me. The plan is to make Lumiose a huge Kalos attraction for tourists. I can see that happening. We'll have to see. Scarlet and Violet graphics. I would have liked Arceus graphics a little bit better. I personally think that game looked a lot better than Scarlet and Violet ever did. But the gameplay features from Arceus staying makes sense. And a release time for June 2025 makes sense. And then they use this time the remakes to be the bridge for us to Gen 10. So getting 2 games this year makes a ton of sense to me. We've been hearing a ton about Black and White remakes. They're going to happen. What's going to be interesting here is, are they going to just be for Black and White 1 or Black and White 2? I don't really know, but this makes a ton of sense to me, and if we got all of this, I would be excited. I still think there's a small chance, and I've been, changing my mind on this back and forth a lot. I still think there's a small chance we may get a hint at Gen 10. Just because I wouldn't be surprised to see them to release it in like March or May or something like that next year, and then they use Pokemon, Day to really, rev everybody up for it. So, wouldn't totally surprise me, but the rest of this makes a lot of sense. Whew, but that was a lot. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about all these. Let me know if you think that, any of these seem realistic to you. Are there things that I'm missing in terms of just how outlandish they might be, or I don't know, just if there's something that maybe I stated wrong. I think I was pretty right on the separations between Black and White and X and Y, but I don't know. There are times where I do get those crossed as well. I can see why this person did. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for us on this episode of Pokemon News Weekly. So thanks for joining me, and with that, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.